Good morning, and thank you for joining us for SBB Live. I am your host and the publisher of Seniors Blue Book, Amanda Barton, and I am really excited today to bring on some of our new partners with Cypress at Home Medical Care. I'm going to start with Dr. Bob. I know that they call you Dr. Bob. So tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, what brought you into this field, and your role over at Cypress at Home as the medical director.
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. Yeah, my name is Dr. Bob Rahmanian. Everyone calls me Dr. Bob. I guess my last name sometimes is hard to pronounce, but Dr. Bob Rahmanian. I am a board certified emergency medicine physician. Been doing that for almost 20 years now. And I am now the medical director for Cypress at Home.
Mhm. Okay, perfect. And I understand you have a really interesting story that you would like to share with us today.
Well, yeah, I think part of it is just how I came from emergency medicine to, working in skilled nursing and assisted living facilities and retirement communities. I started off my career in emergency medicine in the state of Hawaii, and I was a ER physician there in the community for over 10 years. And that's right around the time when the iPhone came out. That's 2008. So believe it or not, it's not that long ago that we started using smartphones. And also right around that time, telemedicine started coming to the forefront. Blue Cross started a pilot program for some of the outer islands in Hawaii where, the rural areas were having a difficult time getting access to medical care. So I was one of the early adopters of telemedicine back in 2008. And I carried that experience over to Southwest Florida when I moved here. And I co-founded a company where we were focused on skilled nursing and assisted living and sort of focusing on how to bridge some of the gaps when accessing medical care. And so I brought that experience of telemedicine into that program. And that's really where, we have found a niche. And since this pandemic started, it's really taken off because we've sort of been doing this for over 10 years. And so we were ready when the pandemic hit to really sort of boost that part of our medical service offerings.
Perfect. And I know we're going to share a video of All right. All right, perfect. Thank you so much. Tim Klatt, you are the senior PA. Tell us a little bit about how you got started with Cypress at Home, a little bit about yourself and your background.
All right, well, thanks for having me on. Yes, my name's Tim Klatt. I'm a board certified physician assistant, and I've been working in the skilled nursing retirement communities for just over about 4 years now. All of those I've had the pleasure of being with Dr. Bob. So we've developed quite a relationship and a platform that has worked well for us and serving our patients and residents. So I've been doing internal medicine after I graduated PA school, and down here in Southwest Florida, I think it's kind of a natural place to get into the independent living, assisted living, and skilled nursing because of the age of our patients and just geographically where we're living. So it's exciting for me. I enjoy doing it. We came over to Cypress Cove to kind of add some different elements that they haven't had in the past, and we're really expanding the medical care around this campus and Southwest Florida as a whole. Again, like Dr. Bob said, with our telemedicine platform that we have and some of the newer technologies that we're making easy on these folks to learn and use, it's really helped us advance our patient care and give the level of care that some of these people need.
Perfect. How did you get started? What inspired you to go into this field?
Well, that's kind of odd that you asked that, because my previous career I was a contractor, a residential remodeling contractor.
Okay.
And I decided I wanted to change, and medicine had always been kind of exciting to me because it was something I didn't have any experience with early on. So I was up for a challenge and decided to pursue that. And I never looked back. It was the best decision I ever made.
It's so, I always find out so much when I do these interviews about folks' previous life before they are where they are today. So it's an interesting story. I've talked to people that were in film and the opera that you would have never guessed.
Yeah.
We'll tag team it over to Jeannie. Now you are the physician and hospital liaison with Cypress at Home as a whole. Is that correct?
Yes, definitely. I work with the whole team and fulfill the needs that they have as far as resources and credentialing. I track our patients and residents based if they go to the hospital or here in the clinic, make sure that they have all the ancillary services that they need to be successful.
You have a big job. You have a big job. So tell me a little bit about your background, because I know it's very multifaceted. You have a lot of experience in different areas. So let's get to know Jeannie a little better.
Well, I actually used to be in franchise marketing. A little unknown secret about me is that I used to be the director of marketing for Jimmy John's Corporation back when I lived in Chicago.
Okay.
Not a lot of people know that, but when you move to Florida, you have two choices. You either do healthcare or tourism. That's your choice. So I went into healthcare, and I got my start with a concierge physician, 13 years ago.
Okay.
And it was just him and I, and we strictly saw clients in their homes only. And I had to know where every client was at every point of their healthcare. So that's how I really learned how to maneuver the system.
Yeah.
I was with him for 4 years. It was like a quick study med school. And then I went out and opened my own company and did consulting for physicians on how to develop different service lines for their business and how to market them and find new income streams. And that's how I met Dr. Bob. So I've known Dr. Bob and worked with Dr. Bob for the last 5 years. So that's how we all have kind of become a team. So
the synergy is fantastic. And how long now have you been with Cypress at Home? It's been a little over a year, right?
No, May will be a year.
I know.
So,
be here before we know it, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So.
That's correct. My name is Tyson Hutchinson, and I've been working in geriatrics for about 5 to 7 years, mostly in the skilled nursing setting. During that time, I did happen to meet Dr. Bob, Tim, and Jeannie. But I very recently came on board with them here at Cypress at Home, and I'm very glad to be here.
Perfect. And tell me a little bit about your role, what a typical day looks like for you.
Well, so far, I'm still kind of hammering out those details, but looks like a few days a week I'll be spending time here in the clinic, kind of doing some primary care type duties.
Okay.
And also some home visits in the assisted living facility and with the independent living setting.
Perfect. So, Dr. Bob, I'm just going to circle back to you. What does a typical day look like in your world?
Yeah, so basically I'm overseeing care for the entire campus, and we also take care of patients in other facilities around Lee County as well. So I'm constantly monitoring, the team and making sure that, they have all the resources that they need to provide the best care. And I'm also sort of on standby to do a telemedicine visit at any time. So we actually have telemedicine robots in many of our facilities. And it's pretty neat. You can just sort of go to a dashboard online. You can see where all of your robots are on a map. And if someone needs to be seen at any facility anywhere in Lee County, we can just log in remotely, and we can, as a physician or a clinician, you can just drive this robot through the facility
That is
into the
so
patient
cool.
room and talk to the patient, talk to the nurse, and get an idea of what's going on, which is really neat. And that's something that we've been doing for a while. So it's kind of it's not a new process for us. We've been doing it, but now the sort of insurance companies are catching up to this as a valuable service, and are reimbursing for it. But it's mostly just oversight and making sure that I'm available for any urgent or emergent issues.
Yeah, that is so cool. Technology has come so far. All right, Tim, what's a typical day look like for you?
I wouldn't call it typical. I don't.
Like no day is a typical day, right?
Yeah, they're all exciting. So I generally start my day off with prioritizing our patient load based on risk status. And obviously we want to take care of the more high risk patients first and make sure they have everything they need to succeed in the skilled nursing rehab facilities. So I'll generally get those patients taken care of and under control and go throughout my day accordingly to status of the patient. And I generally round at 3 to 4 different facilities during the week. So each day can be a little bit different. There's not really a protocol for my day. A lot of it's generated on the patient care and what's needed.
Yeah, whatever's happening that day, whatever life throws at you, right?
That's right. Yep.
All right, Jeannie, typical day, what's it look like for you? That's a big one, right?
It's different every day. I'm very involved in patient tracking, knowing where they are, what's going on with them. Cypress Cove is very detailed with tracking their residents. So I get a report 3 times a day if anybody's fallen, if anybody has gone to the hospital, if EMS has been called, which then that triggers a appointment for either Tyson, Tim, or Bob to intervene and evaluate the situation. Our goal is to bring down our transfer to hospital rate and our EMS refusal rate. So we want to be able to be a resource here instead of them pulling the cord and saying, I've fallen and I can't get up. We are looking to change the face of that and make the resources accessible where that's not happening as frequently. So I'm very involved in tracking and data and putting in different equipment and things like that. We're actually trialing a new respiratory machine, and Bob can probably talk a little bit more about that. That tracks patients with respiratory issues that will alert us when there is a change in their status with their oxygen levels and things like that.
Again, technology comes so far. All right, Tyson, tell me a little bit, I didn't ask you, tell me a little bit about your background, where you came from, because you are one of the newest members of the team.
Yes. So a little like Tim, I also had a different career prior to healthcare. I was spent some time in the United States Coast Guard.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So after I did decide to come back out to the private sector, I went into nursing and then pursued an advanced degree at Florida Southern College in Lakeland. And I've been basically doing nurse practitioner ever since.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for your service. We appreciate you very much. And again, I love doing this because you've learned so much about each person individually and what their background really was. So very cool. Obviously, we really appreciate everything that you've done for the country. And thank you for your service again.
Thank you.
Dr. Bob, do you want to roll into the respiratory sector that Jeannie mentioned?
Yeah. So it's a pilot program that we're just starting to roll out. It's a device that is developed by a third-party company that allows us to, it's a really small device that goes into a patient's room, and it monitors their respiratory status, and we can set parameters to alert us if some of the vital signs change over time,
Okay.
and so that we can intervene, quickly and make sure that, it doesn't progress into something where, that patient might end up going back to the hospital.
So you see a problem before they even feel it at times, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Well, I know that you guys are very busy, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know you got to see patients. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. If anybody has any last minute closing remarks that you'd like to add, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, I just want to thank you so much for your time today.